it goes. All right, yes. Yeah, you're attempting to allow the mind, bigger mind, to picture. You know, for me, it's usually picture what you're not, because I believe the seeming obscuration is presented as the act of being identified as a self. Yeah, so it's not like an act of identification with a noun, a self. It's a verb. It's an act of being identified as a self. That's what the mental processes are in. Yeah, they're in that act of being identified as a self. That's what's happening. Yeah. So the mental processes don't follow like we do time the way we seem to. It doesn't start from now and then lead to an inexorable future. Yes, and then there's past steps. The mental process, quite a lot of the time, takes something that happens after and implies that it's before. So the idea of being you, because there's never a you, it's an a you, and then you're believing in it, it makes it a sense of you. And then that's crowned as me, yeah, and then there you go. So the mental process is in the act, it's using thoughts and feelings and actions and anything it comes in contact with to imply there's someone who's in contact with it. Now there is contact, but that's besides the point. That's the basis of this event. But it implies that there's someone in contact. Yeah? So the thought of you comes after, but then that you is implied to be before. So it magically leapfrogs back and gets prior to consciousness, and then you believe you're the one who's conscious, as almost like an activity that you're doing. Yeah. And then there's an assumption, well, if I'm doing it, I can become more conscious, but usually, if I'm doing it, I can become less conscious, and most people fall under that category. They feel like they're becoming less conscious, which drives the desire to become more conscious. But really, all there is consciousness. Yeah. But that's not seen clearly because you're looking at it now from something that's not prior, taken to be prior. So when you are here claiming consciousness, it seems like it's yours, and you should be able to make more of it, or do things that will make you lose a lot of it. Yeah, so people believe they're going unconscious in the day, and then they're super conscious at a retreat, but then they go back to work, and then they go unconscious again. That's all, that whole logic and that whole story is based on the impossibility that you're the one who's conscious. Yeah, that you have it like a quality, that you can spend unwisely, win, lose, gain, all that. It's all made up, you see. The consciousness has never demonstrated any volition. You're not choosing to see, are you? If I look out there, if a bird flies by, and I swore like today I was never going to see a bird, I'd see the bird. My eyes are open. Now I may have an opinion, I didn't want to see the bird, but that would come after the seeing of the bird. Yeah? But see, even that, when the head goes, I didn't want to see the bird, it implies that it was before and it had a choice in a sense. Yeah, doesn't you have to hear it? It has a sense. It's talking to and from an imaginary reference. You'll hear it. It's not just what it's saying. It's sort of where it's saying it from. Yeah. So it's saying it from a lofty position that it doesn't have. That's why it's very confused, because it believes if I'm the one who's thinking, then the thought should freaking listen to me. I would imagine so, at least for tonight. I wish they would stop at 11 p.m. Got a big important engagement tomorrow, and start up at 8 a.m. So give me 9 hours of thought freeness. I mean, if I have any power, can I pull this off? And you don't seem to be able to do it. But it's very frustrating, not because you have no power over thoughts, because you are taken to be a thought, but because you think or feel you're the thinker. And the thinker gives you an assumption that you have some say over what I'm thinking. Just like when I'm running, I can stop running. You know, I'm not like, I'm like that restless leg syndrome. I can't stop running. You know what I mean? You know, even going through running shoes every week, I can't stop running. You know, but people don't seem to be able to stop thinking. Yeah? So there's confusion. You can go, you know, if I'm reaching, I can stop reaching. But the thinking doesn't seem to play by the other rules that we think we have over other activities, does it? Yeah. And then the thoughts are usually about what's not happening, literally. Like I was dealing with a friend of mine today who's totally flipped out, but I didn't see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, or smell it. Yeah. I couldn't see it, I couldn't hear it, feel it. I couldn't see what was the cause of flipping out, because it wasn't actually happening. It seemed to be happening in the head, but it wasn't about what was happening. Yeah. So where's there a solution in that? How can, you know, you're going to sit, all right, tell me all about it. You know, tell me all about it. So then we can apply the wound. So we can apply the bandage to the wound. But really, in fact, is there a wound? You know? Why don't you just let yourself bleed out and see what happens? You're not going to bleed out. You're not, because it's an imaginary fucking opening. But you know, there's certain social etiquette you have to have. So you're sitting there, okay, come over, yes, come over. I'll sit with you for a while. You know? All right. And you just hold the space and let them do the whole thing. And hopefully you can say, you know, maybe put something in there. You know, is it actually happening? Well, no. You know. So what do you need to do about something that's not happening? Not much. If you do something about it, that's something that's happening. So you don't want to create a happening over something that's not happening. And that's the only way what something that's not happening can seem to happen is when we make it happening. Yeah? When we bring it into, you know, entertaining, you know. Without it has no life, it has no legs of its own. Next Friday can't ruin your day. It can't run in here and then run out. It doesn't have any, first of all, there is no next Friday or last Friday. It's all you. You're playing all the tunes, you know. Not you as this. This is just a fundamental interface. But you is playing the tune. So if your problems really rely or based on what's not happening, then the solution's quite easy. Because in a sense, there's no problem. That's the greatest solution. The greatest solution will inform you there's no need for a solution. Yeah. So if your house is on fire, get the fucking pail of water. Yeah. But when after the water, you know, after the fire's out, maybe you can see that every fire you've ever been in, you've been there. Maybe you can sort of put things together a little bit. See your role in things here. And to see how everything comes to life by the life you give it. Yeah? So what's not happening cannot produce an effect. But what we are, which is everything, can produce an effect out of entertaining what's not happening. What's not happening cannot produce an effect, but if we're entertaining what's not happening, we can produce an effect by what's not happening. Because we're reality. Yeah? So everything here, literally, is seemingly so. It's appearing to be a true or false to us. We're not here, we're way here. So as the Course in Miracles says, lesson 2, very famous lesson, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. That's a very comprehensive statement. Everything and all means pretty much everything and all. You can't, there's no like little footnote, but, you know what I mean? But if this hypothetical situation, you know, no, there's no exemptions, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. That puts us in a very big primary position. Doesn't it? Really? If you and I give everything all the meaning it has, basically it's saying there's nothing that's giving that which is giving everything meaning it has. Nothing's given that a meaning. Yeah. So reality Reality, like we say in recovery, very nice acronym, false evidence appears real. Yeah, for fear, right? They have tons of them, but this is the one I like the most. So because basically that's what's happening in the head. There is no head, but in the thoughts. The thoughts are really a lot of false evidence appearing to be real. Now, how the hell can false evidence appear real? It can only appear real to what's real. Where else is it going to get a sense of reality other than lent it by us? By us believing the false evidence, it can appear to be real to us. Is it real? No. Because there's only one real, which is us. Yeah. Not thing, not content, but, let's say awareness, right? Or this giant whatever. We're reality, lending reality to things, thoughts of things, yeah. Maybe little tiny non-thing things, but they are. And you and I are giving everything all that Ian has, so we're lending reality to things by being identified or by being in the act of being identified as a self. Because it never gets to the point where you're identified as self. It's just an act of being identified as self. And the mental process is using yesterday and tomorrow to assure the act of being identified as self is taken to be so now. So the thought system pictures you and I as a body. It can't think about you any other way. If it thinks about you spiritually, it's framed as a body. It cannot get out of the frame of the thought system. The thought system pictures us as a body. That's how you're thought about, yeah? No way, no thoughts bouncing out of that. If you have a thought bouncing out of that, it's being bounced out of comparing it to the body. So, I'm not a body. Would what's not a body have to say it's not a body? It really wouldn't. I mean, it would be redundant, yes. I'm not a body. Oh yeah, fuck, I knew that. You know what I mean? It's the idea that, let's say you're saying you're not a body, you're probably saying it from being identified as a body. Yeah. So you can say it 8,000 times, but what's saying it is a body, seemingly. That's how it's cast. So it's going to use the mantra that you're not a body as another way of reinforcing that you're a body, because it's a body that's saying it's not a body. Yeah? And this is where the real meaning is. It doesn't give a damn about that. It will deny itself constantly, because that's how it affirms itself. You're trying to get out is how you're in. Yeah, that's the whole key. It gives you the longest. You want to do retreats? Go ahead. Fucking 3 years, 5 years. It just spins out. It's like a fish. It's like a spool that has never-ending yardage. It's sitting there drinking and smoking. You're not escaping. She's sitting here. Oh, I got a nice sunburn. Oh, I got a bite. He's just been introduced to dog shit. I got a bite. There's no threat. There's no threat there. Because it's you. It's all the time you. So the time is very, very invasive here. The dreaming, there's a quality of dreaming which is time. Yeah? Like they say, a teacher once said, we need space for things to appear in, and you need time to see them. So those are the two planks of dreaming, space and time. If you didn't have those two, you wouldn't be able to see anything, or seemingly see something. Yeah. There has to have time to see something. All right, so time. Time is going on and on and on. Now, we believe time goes this direction, but the mental state, again, doesn't. The mental state constantly arises after the conscious contact, but keeps implying it's before the conscious contact. It's a thought that says it's the thought that says it's having all the other thoughts. It's a feeling that says it's having all the other feelings. It's an action that's implying it's the actor of all the other actions. That's the act of being identified as a self. That's it. It's only a verb. It's going on. It can never complete its mission because you're not a thing, first of all. You're not like behind the cheekbone, you know what I mean? You're not like they say in the Bible, the gospel, the kingdom of heaven is within you. I mean, the kingdom of heaven isn't in the body. It would be like 5 parking spaces, parallel park. There'd be no room, no. The kingdom of heaven is within you, meaning everything is within you. Like you're the context of everything. Yeah, you're not a thing, you're not a body. Yeah, as Jesus says, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. This world is of things and time and space and distance and all this shit, yeah? But you're not of the place. So you can't, if you don't know what you're of, you can get a hit on it by seeing what you're not. So you see, hey, I'm not in this place, so what it's like to be in this place, and then negate that, and you're of that, see? So we're in this world, but we're not of this world. So it's a negation of this world. You can't know what you are, because you can only be what you are. But you can get a hit of what you are by knowing what you're not. That's like the bumper shot. So Jesus, I believe, is doing that. Hey, you're in this world. So check out what it means to be in this world, all right? Time, bodies, things happening to me, illness, all these things, separation. And then he goes, hey, you're not of this. Now, if he would say what you're of, you miss the whole point. Because you'd be hearing about what you're of from being in. That's why it never works. It never works affirming the truth from the falsehood. What works is negating the seeming falsehood, which there's no need for negation. That's how beautiful it is, because it isn't true. And when you see what you're not, that's what you are. So the ofness becomes obvious when you realize you're not in. But it will never become obvious to that which is in. Yeah? Because the in disqualifies you from recognizing, well, you can't, because you can't recognize the ofness, you are the ofness, yeah? So it's always negation, in a sense. There's a negation, hey, all right, I'm not that. And then you find out stuff, And that stuff you find out, it doesn't have the same flavor of the mental state. The mental state is more horizontal downloads. This would be more, if you want to use it as an opposite, a more vertical download. And then sometimes it doesn't even turn into any kind of thought or language. If you have a seed assignment like this one, then you're going to share. But usually it's just non-translated energy, really. And then what happens is, what has been driving the interest and attention gets replaced by another driver of the interest and attention, and this doesn't drive the interest and attention anywhere. It allows the interest and attention to be undirected, and that's presence, really. That's the sense of us here, yeah? But usually us here is always being sent on chores, going to the past and the future and this and that all day, and it just gets dispersed. And if that isn't enough, it also gets dispersed into past and future, because a lot of your interest and attention isn't even going through your conscious gates, it's up in your head. It's mostly about, you're sitting in like Howard Cosell's seat, talking about the football game. While you're getting hit, you're sort of disassociated, and you're just waiting for it to tell you if you're winning or losing, because you don't have a fucking clue what's happening, really. Yeah. You just don't want anyone to get better than you. And it's nice to have people who are worse than you, so you can feel somewhat better about yourself. So now it's not directed. You got plenty of attention and interest to deal with a day. You really do. There's not that much. But it's going to be impossible to go through all your fucking history that never happened. They've even done research. When you remember something, all you remember is a memory of it. Nothing fucking happened here at all. It all seems to have happened. It seems to be happening, and it seemed to be happen. It seemed to happen, and I believe it's going to happen. But in fact, all there is happening. Yeah. As right now, this is a happening, isn't it? This has never turned into a happened. Has it? Has what's happening in the moment of what's happening, has it ever turned into a happened? Never. It's always in what's happening. There's not one point where it's happened. No way. Once you say that, whatever was bringing you was just killed. The baby, the spiritual baby you've been hoping to have for all these years, you fucking strangled it with knowing it. It died a still life. But that's happening. There's nothing happened. All there is happening, and nothing ever really happened. The only thing that's really happening, right? Or if you say really happened, is us. And because we're present tense and available, we're happening. We're not a happened, a wasing, or a willing. Yeah? We're happening. It's now, verbing, and nothing ever completes. It's just like there's no culmination. It's just going on and on and on and on and on. And really, the awareness doesn't see, as the Course in Miracles would say, the vision has a sight independent of the eyes that see the world. So the eyes that see the world see things. So when you see, you stop a lot, right? You run into something, right? Yeah? You're seeing, but it's very abrupt because it hits a thing. And then there's a tension there. But seeing, the real vision doesn't land on anything. It just goes on and on and on. It's totally uninterrupted, so you don't even know what's happening. Yeah? That's the whole point. What's always happening doesn't seem at all happening to us. It totally escapes us. Well, let me riff a little, and then we'll go afterwards. Yeah? Doesn't it? It escapes us. I mean, it's just like the fish. It could easily escape the fish that it's in water. Because it's never not been in water. When it's on the deck of the boat flopping around, now it misses the fucking water. But when it was in the water, it had no idea. It was concerned about other fish and clams and seaweed. It wasn't seeing the context. This is the dilemma. The apparatus that we believe is us perceives this, like it says in the Course, very important statement. It says, hey, I'm going to give you a bit of information. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. So if this is interpreting this event for you, it's interpreting the whole event to you as a body. Because it's part of the body. It's like I had this in Dublin, this beautiful person, and he's going, oh, I heard you say it's easy not to be a body. But he says, I'm having a very difficult time. I said, yeah, because it's the body talking about not being the body. Of course the body's going to go, it's very difficult not to be the body. Because its whole job is to be the body. You know what I mean? This false authority suddenly becomes your touchstone. Oh, it's very difficult to realize you're not a body. Of course, from the body's point of view. Because its whole survival is based on you not realizing. But if you see that you're not that, it's quite easy in a sense, because you never were a body. See, if you had been a body for even 1 second, it may dictate you'd have to do a lot of work to get out of it. But you have never been a body. That's what escapes us. We are already in the solution. All of us right now. We just don't think so. That's all. We want to get on the train and go there, but we don't want to recognize we are there. I don't know, for fucking some reason why. Maybe it's more exciting. It is more exciting to go someplace that you hope will be much better than what's always available. It's like, fuck. Why would I want to be here? My whole life has been about getting somewhere else. I must think something's wrong with this, so let's keep going. Yeah, isn't it? Sure. You'll get a flavor of no time. You'll get a flavor. You're of no time. You'll get a flavor of the immediacy of what you're looking for. That there is no need at all, one tiny bit, to prepare thee. You're better off not fucking working on yourself. Really. You're better off if you never heard the word awakening. And God damn it, enlightenment is really a curse. Jesus Christ, how much suffering people are producing with the term enlightenment, which means the cessation of all suffering. It seems funny that we're using a term for the cessation of all suffering to produce suffering. Isn't that the case usually? So, this great master, Ramana Maharshi, said, Atman means everything. Let's say it's supreme soul, whatever. So he says, you cannot investigate Atman. You can investigate non-self, but you cannot investigate Atman. Yeah? You cannot investigate the truth. You are the truth. You can investigate false evidence that's appearing to be real, and maybe you'll see your role in it all. Because there's no way in hell false evidence can ever be real. So it needs some kind of intermediary to bring it into a sense of reality, and I would imagine it's reality playing that role. Yeah? Because how could false evidence appear real unless it appears real to what's real? How could it? How could this place seem so incredibly intriguing, and in one moment, in 1 second, you see through it completely? How could that possibly be? It would have had to have tainted and eroded for tons of years to finally see through it. No. This thing that had you totally enmeshed, seemingly, suddenly you have a moment where it's totally gone, and there was no moving truck showed up. There was no fucking, get this fucking reality out of here. None of that happened. But you're the singularity that was there. You were there when it seemed so fucking real. Now you seem to be there when it doesn't seem so real. What's the freaking reality other than that? Where's the reality? You're at every scene of every freaking crime. You gotta see your role sooner or later. I mean, we could have a show with a serial killer on the loose, right? And then you teamed up with somebody and you hate them and love them. It's been a 5-year series, so there's like a lot of drama between the two partners. And then you're finally getting the clue where it is. So you get to the apartment house. And everything's starting to look familiar, And you knock on the door and you break in, and your roommate, you're in there, and then your partner says, "Hey, that looks like your jacket." And what? And, oh yeah, fucking here's a picture. It's you. You're the killer. But I've been searching for the killer. Yes, it's been you the whole time. That's sort of what it's like. St. Francis saves us time. What's looking is what you're looking for. It doesn't say what's looking, and then 8 pages of requirements that you have to fulfill to become what you're looking for. It doesn't put any requirement on what you're looking for. It says what's looking is what you're looking for. How more immediate can you be with that? How long did that take? What's looking? Oh, right. This is what you're looking for. What? Your whole relevance just got cut off at the knees. What? Yeah, what's looking? Oh, yes, what's looking is what you're looking for. Wait a minute. If that's the same thing I'm looking from, that's driving every fucking second of seeking, trying to get away from that. How could I be what's looking? Because I'm busy looking for it outside. It's beautiful in a way. Huang Po can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Now you could use the Buddha to seek every fucking thing else. Blinds, seek, partner, latte, some pants, trousers, seek a girlfriend, a boyfriend, all this, yeah, and it would probably be successful a lot of the time. Buddha hopefully would look attractive to others, so you may meet somebody. So Buddha could seek everything at all, and probably be successful. But one topic he will not be successful in, which is why? You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. That's the only disqualifying one. Now, if you were anything else, you could seek the Buddha, but just humbly, and I don't think it's for torture. I don't think these cryptic people said this to torture us. You know what I mean? They're trying to warn that perhaps maybe we're the Buddha. And so if we are the Buddha, then it would make no sense to seek the Buddha. So if it's making a whole lot of sense to seek the Buddha, you must not be taking yourself, well, the thing is, it's not about taking yourself, you'd be being it. You must be taking yourself to be something other than the Buddha to make sense of looking for the Buddha. Because if it's the Buddha looking for the Buddha, it makes no sense at all. That could negate 20 years of effort, wouldn't it? If someone could just put it humbly like this and go, maybe much nicer than I can, put it out there, all right. So you've been spending all these years, my friend, yes, yes. You've gotten close many times. I've gotten a taste. I got more than a glimpse. I got a look. I got this, I got that. But, so there's a seeking for whatever. Let's say call it the Buddha nature. Yes, there's a seeking for the Buddha nature. Okay, now, obviously, if it makes total sense to be seeking for the Buddha nature, there must be a certain idea that's in place to make that logic drive, which is that you're not the Buddha. Yeah? Because if you are the Buddha, it has no legs to stand on looking for the Buddha. So if there's a lot of activity looking for the Buddha, I would say the act of being identified as something else is in place. There's a believing in it, let's say. Yeah? Okay, that's easily corrected. What happens? Suddenly, what's looking is finally what you're looking for. Fucking hallelujah. Yeah? Now, it's not going to look like you hoped it would look. Or maybe it will. I don't think so. In my case, it hasn't. In my case, it's really incredibly, from the mental point of view, it's very boring. Yeah, because there's no chase, there's no losing and finding. I misplaced it, you know what I mean? I did something to exile myself. But then, it's not another day of the prodigal son. Okay, I wake up. No, none of that's happening anymore. Nothing's happening. You can't write a blog about it. You really can't. You say, oh, I had a breakthrough today. There's never a breakthrough. There's no one to have a breakthrough. It's just an incessant onness with no partitions and no degrees and no hierarchies. This is the deep end of the pool right now. This is more than you can imagine. Yeah? And there's no medals being given out. You don't get another mark on your sleeve. There's none of that happening. There's no big, all right, ceremony, like a certificate of awakening. All right, you call up Mr. Paul Hedderman. He's been searching for quite a while, and he's now been acknowledged by the Spiritual Board of Authentication. And come here, Mr. Hedderman, we're going to give you this certificate. Now, it's going to be renewed next year. You only have it for 1 year, so fucking behave yourself. Work hard on it this year. Hopefully this will inspire you to keep wanting to stay awake. And there you go. And then there'll be a fee every month. Send us $50 at this post office. None of that's happening. You're just awake to being awake. It's not a big fucking deal, to tell you the truth. You lose interest in the need to be liberated, because what needs to be liberated isn't you. You lose interest in what you called spirituality quite a lot. It may happen. I'm just describing what happened with me. You lose total interest in all that completely. Now you're searching for things like lattes, a fucking good deal on a juicer, you know what I mean? Maybe a date, who knows? But you're not seeking for what you are. That's all cleared up. You don't have many mystical questions. You just gotta have a question like, where are my keys? You know what I mean? I forgot to turn on the recorder again. That's what you have. And so, and you'll just get nothing all day. Totally nothing. And those parts that, I mean, it's like skin sloughing off. Yeah, you don't do anything. You don't use a scrub or exfoliate. Things just fall off. And what the downloads I get is this isn't. I'm not meant to get this better. It's working just fine for it. See the sign. I'm not supposed to set out on a course of improvement. I'm just not. It just works better just the way I seem to be right now. And really what we're doing here is to be of maximum use. You know? Hey, come on in, Cullen. Oh, here's our guest tonight, Mr. Cullen. Come up here, my friend. You want to say hello? Hey, Cullen, you remember me? Yeah. Yeah, put that down there.
It's getting ready.
Come here, my friend. Give me a handshake. How you doing? Look at everybody here. They're all crazy. They're all crazy. They're all looking for what's looking. And you know what's looking, don't you? Yes. Oh, you're bringing everything.
This
is not a payoff. All right, do you have, yeah. Did you get the thing? All right, so listen, I guess we'll end there because there's going to be some dealing now. I got to make some money on the side. This isn't profitable, this business. I see you, son. I'll see you, man. See you. See you, brother. Yeah. Hey, close the door. We're picking this up. Fucking illegal dealings going on. I get 10% cut from the whole. Yeah, so any questions? No. Shut that video off. Close that door, will you? We're gonna well, yes. It's a simple invitation, yes? Can be repeated quite a lot, but it's a simple invitation. And I guarantee you, if you come back, you're going to get nothing. And the more you come back, the more you'll get nothing. And sooner or later, nothing's going to be everything for you. Yeah, you'll finally... You cannot find okayness with this if you take it to be you. It's going to be seen as an urban renewal project. It has too many faults to be found and too much stuff to work on. There'll be a lot of polishing. Yeah, but when you see that you're not this, it's probably the greatest day of the body. Of the body seeming existence, because the great mother mental hen gets off of it. And it can just fucking, you know, seemingly be a body finally. Yes? Get whatever. It doesn't even want anything. The body's just fucking, you know, whatever. So yeah, that's it for me today. That sort of ruined it, like that deal. Yes, it's a little weird. We've had weird things happen, but this one, he looked like Farmer John came in. Farmer John with the hose and everything. What is he doing? I just bought 10 acres of his land. He was going to give me his son, but I mean, children of the corn. Call and kill.
Threw in a bridge for free. Threw in a bridge for free.
All right, well, I'm happy to meet everybody. Yes, it's good to see you. Are you here now?
Well, I mean, I've been interrupted.
I'm just here for a visit temporarily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm like, oh, maybe I should move back.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, you know, I recommend if you're around, come Saturday. That's a good meeting.
Oh,
Not that this isn't a good
Marin
meeting.
City.
Yeah, Marin City, because
Okay.
we have it outside usually, and go to coffee and we spend the day
Oh, that sounds
together.
really nice.
Yeah.
Trying to frame a question with making some sense, but that might not help.
You've got a certain amount of time.
I know, okay. I got my question.
Oh, dude.
I could never sum up what you were saying, nobody can. But it sounds to me, it comes down to your fate.
To what?
To your fate.
Faith?
Fate.
Oh,
F-A-T-E.
fate.
Not fate, the opposite.
Oh.
Because I mean, I've been traveling, there's so many huge ego people, including me, who do every spiritual thing possible and really feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what, I mean, I know it's the opposite of what we're doing, but it's so easy to do that.
But it isn't, because you're still there.
What do you mean?
The mind, big M mind's still there. And it's just going to dream itself out of the dream, like the Course says. You and I are going to dream ourselves out of the dream, and as we do, which is an activity, the dream will get happier. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's going to go on and on and on. When it gets happy, it's closer to the end, so to speak. But yeah, it's a beautiful statement, right? So here's the mind, it's dreaming, yeah? So it's going to use the dreaming to dream itself out. It doesn't have to kill the dream or deny it. So whatever you and I have done or not done, if surrendered, like in AA we call it the higher power, and there's no one surrendering, it's just it's like a sense, yeah? And in the Course it's called the Holy Spirit. But if there's a surrender, whatever is happening is going to be put to good use, yeah? Like the Course in Miracles says, you know, your worst failures were your greatest successes were your worst failures. It can be that extreme. In AA we say, something that was the worst thing ever happened, after a few years of being sober, you see it as the best thing ever happened. So it's like that. So, yeah, no, this is the power of mind. The big mind precedes everything. So because you were there in all those events, there's value, in my view. And what's the value of a failed system? It shows you that it's failed. That's its value, right? So everything here gets mined and is values brought out of it. I've seen it in people's lives in recovery. You know, from their own taking of their life, and they spent hours and hours, they had years of thinking about it, they see absolutely no value in years of what they fucking did, yet they come in AA, submit to the program, and that gets to be used to be of help to others. So you see, it's been proven millions of times through observation and through my own intimacy that mind is dreaming. And mind, whatever the dreaming is that's going on, has no rules that can be applied to the big M mind, yeah? So you were there at all times. That's the value of everything, in my view. So nothing goes to waste, I don't believe. And it's fun to do stuff like that. I would love, man, those retreats, you know, the spiritual retreats in Hawaii, you know, fucking. I'd like to see him have a retreat in Newark, New Jersey, or fucking Hoboken. I'd like to see how many people would sign up for those. But you know, it's nice. You get massaged, you're fucking wearing loose clothing. The people you're sleeping near don't snore, and it's lovely. And everyone's just giving you loving gazes. And it's great. I mean, that's a great way to go here, if you can pull it off. Now, is it getting you anywhere? Who knows? But who cares? Really? I know some people who are rich, and that's all they've done. They just follow teachers all around the world. Oh, fuck, I don't see that as a drag. That's pretty good. And of course, the ones who have money tend to end up in the inner circles of the people. It's just a weird coincidence. so they're getting in on all the inside juice, supposedly. You know, I don't see anything as any mistake anymore. I did at times, and now I don't. Everything is put to use. Yeah, that's my view here. So we were always in the act of dreaming ourselves out of the dream. Yeah, that's what this meeting is. This meeting is happening seemingly in a dream. Yeah, it's outside. And this dreaming, this activity, this eventing is allowing us to dream ourselves out of the dream. basically saving time, which is a huge, and this is what all the great warnings of spirituality are about to me, is saving time. They're attempting to say, hey, the seeker is the sought, so you don't have to seek for something other for so fucking long to get that message. Maybe you could just leapfrog and get it, you know, hey, all right, the seeker is the sought. Yeah. Or like, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. That's such a beautiful warning in a way. So if you're looking at the cigarette pack, you know, and it says this could be dangerous to your health, this, you know, can't use the Buddha, on every book, can't use the Buddha, seek the Buddha, it'll be dangerous to your spiritual health. And maybe you wouldn't pick up and smoke that book. What probably you still would. And then you have to go through what can a failed system show you? It's failed. Therefore, was it successful? Was the failed system successful? Of course it was, because the mind made it successful. It did exactly what it's supposed to do, is fail you, and the mind uses it to produce a success out of it. That's what we are. We are mind. We are the priorness. We are that. What comes after does not apply to it. It uses what comes after, seemingly, or what's appearing in it, to do whatever it freaking wants with. Yeah? So you can have people who've been totally guaranteed, authenticated in this world to be charlatans, yet tons of people got incredibly inspired by their books.
Right.
It has nothing to fucking to do with the messenger. It's the message. And it's who hears the message or what hears the message is going to make it what it is. It doesn't care, oh, he had homosexual tendencies. Fucking up, give me a fucking break. So do you. You have tons of tendencies. You're still being used to be of help. No one's pure here, or you wouldn't be here. This is everyone's dirty here. But the message is not the messenger. The message is for all of us. The messenger could be for a few, but the message is for all. Yeah. It can come any way it wants. Look at what happened to the co-founder of AA. He had a very difficult time living up to what downloaded through him. Depressed for 15 years, womanizer, mistreat, you know. Probably, I think this is not being recorded, right? No?
Yeah.
I don't want to shut it off. No.